So good morning, everybody. It's kind of wild. We're only geez, we're almost at Halloween. We're about a month away from Thanksgiving. And a lot of the things we started talking about already are planning for 2026. What kind of goals do you have? Your business plan. What worked for you in 25? What could you do better in 26? All those things should be going through your head right now. Start and write them down. Start building a plan out. You don't have to have it done yet, but over the next month or so, you really want to have a set plan down, whether you're sitting with your manager, or any of us, or even just a coworker to write down your goal, whether that's pay off a credit card, sell 100 houses, make 100 grand, make 500 grand, pay for college tuition, whatever it may be. Start writing it down, and then start looking at the activities that worked for you, what didn't, and then sit down and really come up with a plan. And part of that plan, though, everyone, needs to be practicing, right? We tell our kids all the time, whether it's a sport, go practice, go, whatever they do. If they play an instrument, you got to go practice. And whether they're the best of the best, the professional athletes, the professional violinists, right? They're practicing every single day. And it's the same thing we tell our kids and our grandkids. Oh, no, we got to go practice. I want to go outside and shoot hoops. Let's practice your free throws. Everything do. Even a kid, when they get their learning permit, we got to practice driving. It's all about practice. And one thing we probably fall short on in our industry is practicing our skills. So what I wanted to tell people is, as you go into your business planning, goal setting time, writing things down, write it down and talk to somebody, is write down practicing. You need to practice your presentation. You need to practice your scripts, right? It's doing those things so you don't get stuck at a kitchen table or on the phone when you're driving your car and somebody says, "Hey, what about?" And you're like, "Oh, I don't know how to answer that question," because you need to know your presentation and have it down. The top real estate agents all have their scripts down. When they go on a listing presentation, they know exactly what they're saying. They're ready to go. And they practice it. And you can practice it in front of your mirror with a coworker, with an accountability, friend, with your manager. You could have 3, 4 people in a conference room and say, "Let's practice it." And because the most important things that we know when we talk to a seller are what? Asking good questions, and then listening very carefully to those answers and not selling. And a lot of those good questions, let that homeowner, let that buyer tell you why they're looking for a house, why they're selling, what's motivating them, what they love about their house, why they pick this house, all those good things. And the thing is, think about it. Really think about it. Look in the mirror and say, how good are you at your listing presentation, at your buyer presentation, at asking the questions, to get the right answers out so you're not running into something 3 weeks, a month, 2 months down the road. And you know what? This revolves around a couple issues, right? The first one is the time you spend daily. I remember, like, you used to have the tapes, and you used to have like Zig Ziglar and different stuff. And I put a tape in the car and I drove, and I used to talk about motivation, but you'd be practicing stuff. You'd be saying it as you're driving in your car. So are you practicing those scripts in your car? Are you practicing your presentation in front of a mirror or to someone in the office or to a friend or your significant other? And then the thing is, like the old adage in sports, you got to practice how you want to play. So you got to have some urgency with it, some intensity. Have a coworker or a friend ask you hard questions. Why should I list with you? Can you do a lower commission? So you know how to answer those questions. Because guess what? We're seeing a lot of things out there where people are, oh yeah, they'll just say yes to a lower commission. I can't imagine in a buyer's market where sellers have months of inventory and you're taking anything less than 3% or asking 3% from a seller. Sellers' homes are on the market in Florida for 90, 100, 120 days. They're desperate to sell. You should be asking for 3%, 3.5%. And right now, to navigate a seller to get the best for their value, a lot of our top agents are getting 3, 3.5, even 4%. They know their scripts. They know what to say. They're not doing it. And they're not worried about that because they know exactly how to handle those objections. So what I want to do is tell everybody, create a plan. Put in your plan. I'm going to practice every day. I want to get my listing presentation down. I'm going to practice for a week or two. Then maybe you say, hey, you know what? I do a lot of open houses. I'm going to practice my open house script. When someone comes into a house, what do I say? Have you looked at many houses? How long have you been looking for? Are you working with another agent, right? Maybe you're somebody who focuses on expired listings too. Are you practicing your expired scripts? Are you practicing your for sale by owner scripts? Because we're seeing those in Connecticut with the seller's market. People just say, I don't need an agent. I'll just put it on the market. It'll sell in a couple days. So each week, have a plan, right? Just like any, golfer, right? They don't just practice hitting a pitching wedge. They hit their 7-iron, they hit their driver, they hit their rescue club, they putt, they chip, they use bunker shots. They practice a different skill. And we should all practice our different skills: buyer presentation, listing presentation, expired, open house, objection handling, right? So when somebody says, I really like you, but will you do it for 1%? You know, I think you don't go into your orthopedic surgeon when you're getting knee surgery and say, I really like you, but can you do it for half price? No, right? Because we already have researched that doctor. We know what they are. We've met with them. And that's why if somebody's doing that, you need to be able to handle that objection and practice that. Write it into your schedule. I would make a plan to practice that for 10, 15 minutes. Some of the top agents practice it for an hour a day. I know, like the Mike Ferry training classes, they have script practicing, objection handling for an hour, and they do it at like 7 in the morning. But here's the thing: if you don't practice, when that objection comes up, you're going to struggle with that answer. And here's what to do. When you're making your business plan, when you start thinking about your plan for next year, is write that in. Make that part of your plan. Don't cancel it. Don't no-show on yourself. Don't no-show up on a partner in the office. That even if you were doing it once a week to practice together, don't do it and give honest feedback. So Kelly and I are doing a couple videos right now, and I showed them to my wife last night at dinner time, and my wife was like, you look angry. You talk too fast. I didn't love them. Okay, there's the honest feedback. So like Kelly sends me a text over, and I was like, all right, I'm going to show them to my wife. I'll have her give the feedback to Kelly. And her feedback to both was smile more. And you know what? That's honest feedback. So Kelly and I are redoing our videos to make sure we're smiling more. Because you know what? If no one's giving you honest feedback, you can't improve. And that's why you want to work with somebody, a manager, another agent, a significant other, and let them be honest. Walk into your house and say, let me sell you this house. Let me list this house, and go through your presentation. Tell them if they like you. Do it with another agent. Have them say, I'll do it for you, but I want to do it for 2%. How do you handle that? I know that Ryan tells a story that I forget who it was. It might have been Karen's mom, with Lil. And he's like, I went on a listing presentation. She didn't leave the house until she got a yes. She handled every objection. I think he said he was there till like 9 p.m. and he got there at 5. Again, her script was down. Lil's script knew it. She was going to handle every single objection. I'm not leaving till I get that listing. And always remember too, there's always room for improvement, right? The best baseball player still practices. The best golfer still practices. The best violinist still practices to try to get a little bit better. I know I coach soccer, and what I tell my kids every day, whether they're little kids or a high school team, our goal is to get a little better every day. Because if you can all get a little bit better on your scripts, objection handling, what you're doing in every activity, at an open house, meeting a buyer, networking, if you get a little better every day, boy, a month you're going to be a lot better. And in a year, you'll be a lot better. So take practice planning in your business plan and work on it. Every day driving in the car. Once a week, have an accountability coach, person, friend talk to you about that. Because if you are really handle that little role playing issue and can handle those objections, you're going to be more successful. You're going to be more confident. And people know when people are confident, they work with you more. So my takeaway today is, as you're doing your business plan, put practicing scripts of things that you do in that, and make sure you do it. Hold yourself accountable to do it, because if you get better at it every day, every week, by the end of the year, you're going to handle any objection you want. So that's what I have this morning. I'm going to open it up to any questions or comments. No questions, no comments. All right. Well, the good news is maybe everybody just saying, yeah, this makes sense. And by the way, you can apply that to everything you do. If it's open houses, like I said, expires, working with buyers, maybe you go to your church or a networking event, and you're like, how do I kind of talk to people and bring in real estate? Practice that stuff. If you practice it a little bit, you'll be confident and do it. So if there's no questions or comments, I don't have anything else.
No, I think a lot of what goes on too has to do with the more you practice, the easier it is for you to communicate. Because what's critical anytime you're on a listing presentation or you have a new buyer is you got to connect. If you can connect with that person, that's 50% of the battle right there. They start falling in love with you, and the rest is kind of easy, so to speak, if you can connect. And the smoother you are, without having to try to remember what am I supposed to say right now. That's what practice does for you. It lets you talk. It lets you talk naturally. And you can't replace that. AI will never replace us. Okay. And if you don't know what to say, ask AI what to say and then practice that.
And then practice that.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's good to fumble over your words, because the more you fumble over them, the better you'll be at them.
Yep.
So I would like to share a tip if that's okay, PJ. When I've been learning how to do things and how to memorize things, especially when I've been studying for my tests for real estate exams and to memorize things, I have to say them out loud, and I also have to repeat back what someone says to me, where I'll say, so you're telling me that you think your house is valued at $200,000. So that type of stuff helps me remember. And I do a lot of my practicing in the car, driving around. Try not, as much as we want to turn the radio on and maybe have a little fun party in the car, saying it in the car and practicing it out loud. It's a good spot because you're kind of trapped there. So, work on maybe even one paragraph at a time and saying it in the car and practicing out loud. It also helps you prep for work. You don't have to do it all the time, but if you're on your way to a listing appointment or doing something, just a little trick and a time-saving spot too. So good luck to you guys. And I'm smiling.
All right. Any other questions, comments, or anything? All right, everyone. Well, hey, we like to keep these short and sweet to give you an idea, a couple things to think about, to put into play, that you can put into play today. So have a great day. Have a positive day. Like Kelly said, it's going to be a great one, and go make something happen. Take care, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
See you later. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.